Dr. Oz,
Yeah,
so what do you do all day? Do you just take calls and like talk people off ledges or what?
there's three parts to what I'm doing these days. I got to help patients who are having issues, or the hospital deal with manpower issues or equipment issues. So I'm continually trying to connect people who have resources to people who don't. In the course of those discussions, you get to see up close exactly where the problems are. And by keeping my finger on the pulse of the system, I try to identify shortages. Like we have a big ventilator problem right now. I'm hopeful that we're going to get through the hump, which will probably be Thursday. But, you got to make phone calls and asking favors and make sure the guy on the left knows what the guy on the right's doing. And in a time like this, you think someone's got that covered. They don't. You have battlefield commissions where you literally are going to war and say, okay, I'm just going to promote myself to go figure out this problem. And a lot of people are doing this. A lot of leaders have arisen who just decided they could fix a problem better than anyone else because no one else was doing it. And then they went out and made opportunities happen. So whether they're hospitals putting tents outside the ER to provide flexibility, or doctors using ventilators and jury rigging them so they can take care of two patients at once. I mean, there's lots of fascinating stories that will come out of this that we'll tell years from now. But all that matters is you're gluing together the system.
Well, I'm glad you're on because like I have some real basic questions that I think you can answer in a real basic way, but you have a ton of knowledge when you answer them. For example, today even, if someone's starting to feel a little sick, before they run off to go, hey, I have coronavirus, what should they do?
Well, if you're getting a cough or a fever, or you feel really tired, and you don't have shortness of breath, just stay at home. Call your doctor, let him know, but they're not going to want you to get out of the house, infect a bunch of people. And if you're wrong and you don't have COVID-19, wherever you're going, there will be people with COVID-19. So you might get infected just by going and getting checked. And there's no point to getting checked because we know what's going to happen. You're going to stay at home and take care of yourself, sleep, try to eat the best you can. And most people, the vast majority, will be through this virus and do great. Now, half the people have no symptoms. So it's very difficult for you to know that you're infectious and getting over this virus, and therefore you may spread it to others. So unfortunately, it's not even so much that you're having symptoms. Any symptom, whether it's this or not, could be this. So you basically having everybody thinking they've got COVID-19 15 times over the last month, and that little ache and pain probably wasn't it, and you may not have had any ache and pain and had it. So just to get people comfort around this, at some point we will all get it, or we'll get the vaccine. And most people aren't going to have a big issue. The folks who do have major problems, we generally know who they are. There's some exceptions. Young people can get really sick. They can go to the hospital. They can have, challenges to their life, but very rarely do we lose them compared to the older population.
Well, I'm working at home right now, Dr. Oz, as I know you are too. When will this stop? When do I get to go back out into the real world?
Well, my estimate that New York, which is the vanguard, because we're having the worst problem, but we're also ahead of most of the country because we're a very international city. So it hit us early and hard. We'll be seeing our peak this week, I believe. This is my personal projection based on patient flow in the hospitals and the like. Next week we'll be here at the same place because it takes a while for it to get past the crisis patients that are still in the ICU, tying up beds because they're alive and they're desperately clinging to life. But as the week after that comes, so let's say the third week of April, we'll start to see a decline, and then we'll start seeing ourselves skiing downhill for a change with less patients every week. Therefore, we have enough beds, enough ventilators, et cetera. The rest of the country is 7 to 10 days behind us. And most of the country was smarter to shut down earlier in the course of their problems. They won't have it nearly as bad as we have it. And for that reason, it won't take them as long to get over it. Then the bigger question is when you go back to normal, I think June. May will be an experiment where less urban areas will start to get freed up. We'll start to learn how to do social distancing when we're going to work. Well, we'll get better at containment. So when someone gets sick, and they've been in contact with somebody. And contact means more than 10 minutes, 6 feet away from them. That's what contact means.
What precautions do I need to take when I'm going to the grocery store?
I would personally think about gloves. You're going to put them on as you walk in, take them out and off as you walk out, and don't touch the tips of those fingers. Pull it off without having the tips of your fingers touching everything else that you're wearing. That way, just toss the gloves and you're done. I would wear a cloth facial covering. High-quality cotton is pretty fine cotton. Is a nice little tool. It's about half what a mask would do, what a surgical mask would do. But so it's better than nothing, but not great. And that you can take off and wash whenever you want to. Washing your hands, washing your dishes, and washing your clothes, it all works equally effectively, killing the virus. It pierces the virus, but it also surrounds it and carries it away. Other than that, when you get the food home, whether from the grocery store or takeout, try to leave the bags outside. You don't need those. That's where many of the germs will be. And the containers themselves, over the course of a day or half a day, even 12 hours, all the virus will die. So you don't have to worry about them that much.
On your show tomorrow, you're talking about the best way with laundry during coronavirus. Just give me a little something about that.
Places people get sick is the elevator to the laundromat, right? Because that's a common place. Everyone's crowded. Everyone's breathing the same air. When you speak, if you say the word health at the end, you're spitting little bits of droplets of fluid in the air, creating a cloud that has virus in it. And that virus will travel into your nose and infect you. A latrine, same thing. The dirtiest places are the places no one cleans. So it's a door going into the latrine, not the toilet seat. Because someone cleans the toilet seat. No one cleans the actual handle to the door or the knobs on the sink. So those have to be handled with a paper towel or something that you pull your sleeve over your hands. That your fingers shouldn't touch those areas if at all avoidable. And the laundromat may be the safest place in that darn setup. But within the laundromat, there's some like the coin changer. If you go into a public space, all that the cash actually has germs on it because someone's touching their fingers to it and handing it to you. It takes about 4 hours for those germs to die. So copper coin, 4 hours, germs. So you don't want to handle money, if at all possible. So using a card or credit or some token system that you don't have to touch physically, and a laundromat makes sense. But the clothes inside the laundromat, those are fine.
Check your local listings. Go to DrOz.com. Doctor is spelled out. We always love talking the common sense with you, Dr. Oz, because you explain it better than anyone I know.
So I want to applaud you for all you're doing, for keeping folks calm and giving them some joy during these difficult times. God bless you.
Well, I appreciate you, Dr. Oz. Talk to you soon.
Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.